Hi there, I'm Chef Celeste, and welcome to my Louisiana kitchen, where I take you all around Louisiana through food. Today's episode, we are talking catfish atchafalaya, and we're going to do my take on a meatless dirty rice. I'll see you in a minute. On our catfish, the first thing we're going to do, I have a whole fillet here, and this is Louisiana catfish. It's nothing better than that, except for where you are. Wherever you are, get local and get to cooking. So we have that, we have the salt, pepper, a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to put some red bell peppers in here. I have some red onion going in and some yellow onion. I have my green onions going in here also. Then I have my spice plate here. We're going to do some granulated onion to help fortify that flavor, granulated garlic. I have some paprika, and this right here is actually cayenne pepper. So we're going to add the cayenne pepper in there too. But the star of this show also, you know, are my seasonings, my senior seasonings. So I mixed up the blend. That's going to be the Creole garlic going in there, a little cracked black pepper, and my steak seasoning. So it's going to all blend together and make this wonderful dish. So, and my celery. First thing I'm going to do, add a little bit of oil to the pan, about 3 tablespoons. I'm going to take my seasoning blend that I had in the mortar and pestle, and I'm going to put that on my fish that's nicely dressed, and you can just pat that in if you want to, right on the side. Add a little bit, let me turn it over, and I'm going to sprinkle on the other side. If you're not going to use all of your seasoning at one time, once you touch the meat or anything like that, do not go back into it, okay? But I want you to double dip in there and contaminate the rest of it. So I'm going to lay this down in the pan. You hear that sizzle? Just lay it away from you. And I'm going to put that on a medium heat right now to let that go down. So I'm going to top off the rest of it, because this is actually going to go in the oven. So once I sear that on both sides, I'm going to add in my peppers, and the rest of this is going to cook in the oven. So I'm not worried about the degree of doneness before I actually put it into the pan. I just want to chop it into nice large chunks. So sun-dried tomatoes are already cut. I don't have to worry about those. So catfish atchafalaya is something that traditionally is done with fried catfish, and then it's topped off with crawfish etouffee. But today we're going to grill it. We're lightening things up a bit. So we're just going to grill it up a little bit. Got my celery cut here. And once the catfish goes into the oven, then we'll move directly into making the crawfish etouffee, which is going to be nice and simple. And then I'm going to give you a little twist to that on the end. Now I want to add my red onion. Not going to use all of it, but I'm going to use most of it today. So we're going to take that, and look how we just take that outer skin off. Nothing fancy, you've seen this before already. Onions, this should be a staple in your kitchen. Okay? So we're going to just slice this here. Not julienne, we're not going that low, or that small. But this is it. Nice and simple. Different textures. They're still going to cook about the same amount of time. But look at that. So I'm going to show you this plate. It's going to be nice and colorful. All right, look at this. All right, I'm going to flip this fish over, and we'll be right back and finish it up. Okay, so let's flip this baby over. See that nice color? The brown starting to get there. Don't worry about the tail. When we get it in the oven, that's going to finish browning off. But you see how it's nice and light? It's starting to caramelize right now. I didn't want it to go too much, because remember, this is a whole fillet. It has the bone inside, and I'm going to finish it in the oven. So this is just going to enhance that beautiful color. But in the meantime, look at this. Just go ahead and put that in. Put these vegetables all around. Okay, put that over to the side. We are not missing anything. Everything is going in. Sun-dried tomatoes on here. I kept those whole. They're gonna soften up and rehydrate some while they're in here with the juices. And again, I'm going to just top everything off with a little more seasoning. That's just salt, a little bit of pepper. Put some of my dry herbs on here, or dry spices. Now I'm going in with the cayenne pepper. We're going to do 2. 1, get some on the fish. 2. Okay. Again, nice, simple, easy for you to do at home. That's what I like, because if I can keep you doing something nice and simple but delicious and give you a variety in there, you'll keep cooking. And then you'll start expanding what you do. Because my goal with my Louisiana kitchen is not to reinvent the wheel, but for my newcomers to Louisiana cuisine, I want you to love it. For my Louisianians, I want you to nod and say, yeah, she did something different, but I like it. So that is my take on cooking. So this is ready to go in the oven. So we're going to put this in the oven. We're going to start making the crawfish étouffée, and we'll be right back. All right, the catfish is in the oven. Now we're going to kick it up. We're going to do 2 things at one time, so we're about to multitask. I have 2 skillets on here. They are at medium heat. They're already warm. We're going to make our crawfish sauce, and we're going to make our meatless rice. So I pulled out my trusty mushrooms from Mushroom Maggie, and we're going to do that for the rice dish. So that's going to give you that meaty flavor if you have to have that in there. So first off, in both of them, we're going to put our onions. So we're going heavy on vegetables today, which is a good thing. It's a tradition in our Louisiana cooking. You're going to have this in a lot of your dishes, and it doesn't hurt to get this in your body, so nothing wrong with that. So I'm cutting up the onions medium. This is enough for both of my pans. Then I'm adding the celery. Now I'm going to take some of the flour part off, so this can tend to be a bit bitter, so we'll take that off and just push it to the side. We're not going to use that today, okay? So I'm going to use 2½ stalks, and I'm going to cut it fairly thin. That way I can have it all cooked evenly, and just twist it around if you need to, just to get it where you want it. All right, got that going in. What else am I putting in here? That's it for now. Look, that's in that one. That's 2. You can do 2 skillets at one time. I have confidence in you. Now let's add a little bit of oil to that. A little bit of oil to that one. Now we're going to do the mushrooms. You can use shiitake mushrooms, you can use portobello mushrooms, whatever you fancy. That's what I want you to add in there, okay? I'm doing a nice variety here. I have some oyster mushrooms. I have another variety here. She has so many different types. I'm not a mushroom aficionado, so I can't give you all the big rundown. So these are going to be medium chopped, because I want that bite in there. And then I'm going to do some of my, I'm not going to put all that in there, that's a lot, but I am going to add some color to it with my pink mushroom, or coral, that's what we're going to call it, coral. All right, that's going in. Now I have a spoon for my crawfish pan. I have a spoon for my rice pan. And the reason I say I have a spoon for each is, what if someone is allergic to mushrooms? Then you don't want to add that in there. So just have 2 separate things, okay? So now I'm going to let that sit. I'm going to add the crawfish to this one. I'm going to add about 1.5 pounds of fresh Louisiana crawfish tails. Not imports, fresh Louisiana crawfish tails. Doesn't get any better than that. Now I'm going to turn this up to a medium high, because I want this to kind of saute a little bit for me, and then I'm going to add some seasoning in here. Now for my rice pan, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn it up to medium high. So on that, on both your burners, Crank them up a little bit. Now, I'm gonna add some of my pre-cooked white rice. You can go traditionally also and just add in dry rice and start this from scratch in the oven. But again, if you have rice already cooked at home, why reinvent the wheel and start from scratch? So, this is what we're gonna do. That's enough rice. So kind of mix that in, let it get all blended well in here. And then I'm gonna show you, we're gonna season this up a bit. So, rice is one of my favorite things, whether it's plain rice with a little bit of Tabasco on there. And I know some of you right now are like, Chef, plain rice? Yes, plain rice with a little bit of Tabasco on there. Try it and just see what the flavor profile is like, and you may like it. So that way you'll know what you're adding when it's time to season up different things and you're using a rice dish. So first off, in this one, we're gonna add some paprika. Then we're gonna add a pinch of cayenne pepper. Same thing to my crawfish. 2 pinches in the crawfish. A little bit of garlic. You can also add fresh garlic. Okay, a little bit of steak seasoning. Steak seasoning is awesome to use. I'm using mine, Chef's Less Senior Seasonings, but it doesn't make it taste like steak. It just enhances what you're doing. So don't be afraid to use it on just about anything, okay? So I'm gonna let this one keep going. I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. Pinch, tiny pinch, half a pinch of salt in here. And I'm actually gonna turn this one off now. And is it all the way hot? It is. Am I finished with it? No, but I don't wanna concentrate on it right now. Right now we're gonna move over to this one here. That's enough multitasking for 2 seconds. We'll get back to multitasking. Okay, so this is nice and hot. Turn it up just a little bit. Now at this point, you can add the flour, make a roux, and add your stock. What I'm gonna do to give it my twist is add heavy cream. So you ready? Heavy cream going in. And this is gonna thicken up. It's gonna turn into a nice, delicious crawfish sauce. If you had pasta that you were cooking at home and you wanted to add some Parmesan cheese and use it like that, this would be wonderful. So it's so many things that you can do, so many variations with crawfish, and when it's in season, it is a beautiful thing. So we're in season until right around the end of June. So they start to get smaller and smaller. So after that, you know, you really want to go and you want to buy the frozen crawfish tails and in the packages from Louisiana. You can call, you can have them shipped to you. You can call Tony Seafood. That's where I got these from, Tony Seafood. They have a wonderful selection of all types of seafood. Shout out to them. Now I'm going to add a little bit more of my seasoning blend. And folks, I'm just going to let this cook down a minute. I'm going to add a little bit more paprika so I can get some color and get this profile where I want it. And we're going to pull that catfish out of the oven and we're going to assemble everything so you can see how it all comes together. Catfish achafalaya with meatless dirty rice. Be right back. All right, we have everything ready. So give yourself a hand too, because this is 3 items all at one time. So we have the rice, we have the crawfish sauce, and the catfish is ready. So now we're gonna plate it. We're gonna put it on a large platter. So first down, I want my rice. And just get a pretty platter, whatever you like. And I'm gonna put the rice down the middle. Look at all the vegetables in there. The mushrooms have cooked down. I'm gonna try and pick this up. It's a little, not too heavy. I got some mussels going on here, y'all. All right, get that out the way. The next thing going on is the catfish. Yes. So let me switch this around. I want this closer because I don't want to spill any of it. Get my catfish without breaking it up. Let me see if I can turn it around towards you. Look at that. Kind of offset. I want my vegetables on here. I love the way these vegetables turn out. You know, I like nice roasted vegetables, so let's put some right here. Move it off to the side. Put some around the back side. And you see me using my hands a lot. Make sure your hands are clean, okay? Wash your hands often. In the restaurant, we use gloves. So, and one other thing while I'm on my health kick, do not double dip while you're cooking and you're serving people, okay? Only double dip on your own plate. Now, for the showstopper, our Louisiana crawfish tails. Let me get that on top. And then I'll come back in with my sauce. Look at that. Nice, moist Louisiana crawfish tails. And pour a little bit of that sauce on top. All right, look at that. We're gonna top that off with some green onion. And this almost looks like a Mardi Gras or Fiesta plate. I'm Chef Celeste. This is my Louisiana kitchen with my catfish atchafalaya. You can check me out on Facebook at Chef Celeste Gill, on Instagram, and I will see you next time.